Starr.
Nice to meet you. I'm Gale.
Nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you, Starr.
Me
This
too.
is very exciting. We have lots to talk about today.
Yeah, we should start by exchanging these cards
Okay, so
we
you
have.
get that one, and I get that one. So we have to read them. So you work at BET, which is fantastic. You have a lot of brothers and sisters.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. And you love Big Sean.
Big Sean Woo Woo. And you are the president of the Manhattan borough, the borough I live in,
Oh,
which
that's
I
cool.
just moved to actually too. And you have 2 siblings. And of course, I'm sure there's a lot of issues that matter to you based off what I see here.
I said all, and then I had to list them all. I didn't know what to do.
And your favorite song. Now, I'm not familiar with this song. Or is it a musician? See?
It's a musician. See, I knew that young people might not know Winston Marsalis. Jazz.
see.
Jazz.
And what makes you smile? Gossip. And I would not think gossip for the Manhattan borough president would make you smile. I would not think that. And your curse word is really not a curse word.
I know.
And I don't want you to read mine.
I was going to put yours down.
We can't really read my curse word.
I was going to put yours down, actually.
Hers
but,
is darn.
Yes, and I was going to put your word down, which is just F blank, 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 blank.
Yeah. Bleep, bleep.
Exactly.
Now I'm more embarrassed.
Not at
Because
all.
I was meeting with the Manhattan borough president, and
Not
that's
at
what
all.
I put for my
I love
favorite curse word.
JC. Jay-Z's also good at helping New York City.
A lot of people would think the contrary of Jay-Z because of his music and some social issues he does not speak on.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's an entrepreneur. And I think in today's world, being an entrepreneur is a big deal.
Don't you think someone with so much influence has a responsibility to actually step up and say something, despite that's not their role, what they do daily, but because of the influence of our culture, people, that their words would mean a lot more, they resonate more.
I agree. I mean, like Magic Johnson did a lot for 125th Street in terms of jobs. Sometimes people do job stuff, sometimes they do, speak out on things like some of the older, Harry Belafonte. Do you know who Harry Belafonte is?
Yes.
Okay, so he has been a civil rights leader and he spoke out for like 30 years.
And actually spoke out about Jay-Z.
Yes, that's right, he was upset.
Yes.
So it depends. I mean, I think there's 2 ways. If you provide jobs, I think that's a real social contribution.
I agree, that's doing, and not so much talking.
Exactly.
You're doing.
Exactly. It's fun growing up in a large family, though, right?
Yeah.
Are you in the middle?
Yes, I am the
I don't know.
middle.
I thought you were a middle child.
Oh, I look like, what's a middle child look like?
Somebody who's got a lot of presents. My sister's the middle
that's
child,
cool.
and she's got a lot of presents. And but you could tell you were a middle child.
Oh yeah, it was a lot of fun, a lot of fights. But now, growing up, you learn that your siblings are actually your best friends.
Yes. Yeah. And when you grow up, it's nice to have best friends because it's tough out there.
Oh yeah.
What issues are you concerned about?
One that is close to my heart is probably public education.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And
We both put that down as an issue.
Oh, why is it such a big concern to you?
Well, I mean, my kids all went through the public school. I mean, I also consider the City University of Public Education, and that's how you can literally move from one part of society to another, or you can, in fact, make friends and friends for life. You have your family, but we've got to have technology, literacy, math, science, and the arts. The arts are as important, so all of that has to be part of education. And it's so competitive. We're competing with China and the African continent and South America and Russia, and we gotta have different languages. So all of that has to be part of your education to compete.
What matters to me a lot is that what public education really is not. We don't necessarily learn about ourselves, and I don't think all the history is there. And I think that has a lot to do about how young individuals of color actually grow up and how they perceive themselves. And I feel like a lot of times that's where the self-esteem comes from. If you don't learn anything about yourself in grade school and all you know are 2 figures, Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King, then you don't have any pride. And though they will say they have pride, but they don't. You know that notion if you knew better, you would do better is actually so true. And I think that's a perfect testament to that, because they're not learning about themselves in school, and that and their behavior reflects that.
And the other problem is when you're in school, you got to have a lot of places where you can gain self-esteem. Like if you're good in the arts, or you're good in science, but you're not good in math, or you're not good in language, you got to have all those alternatives. And I worry sometimes that because of the funding challenges, and they don't have to be there, but they are, because people are always cutting back on public education. But you have to have something to give you the ability to have self-esteem. But you got to have like the after-school programs, you got to have the weekend programs.
But even when we talk about having good teachers, teachers aren't treated as one of the top occupations. They don't get paid a lot. They don't have the benefits that they should have all the time. It's a slow start to the top for a teacher. And I feel like our teachers aren't really supported by the government as much as they should be, because they're creating the future. They're with everybody's children more than parents are.
I absolutely agree, and the issue is sometimes in schools that are more challenging, they don't always have the best teachers, because some of those teachers want to go to the quote-unquote better schools, and so we have to think of a way to pay more to teachers and also give people more opportunity in schools that need more help.
I mean, I went to public school, and a lot of times you'll be surprised even when you talk to a high school student and they go to college, and that jump is different, because public school is not like any university or college where seniors leave school and the longest paper they ever written was 2 pages. They don't know what a works cited is, what's a bibliography, what is that? And you didn't even learn how to get the resources. So the resources could be there in college, but you don't even know how to go about and navigate that world. And it's frightening, and it could be discouraging to some students, and I think that also contributes to the dropout rate when minorities actually go to college. They get in, they go, it's exciting, but they do not finish, and it's just because they weren't as prepared, you know what I mean, because of the public school system that they went to. Because it makes you think you are, like the honors classes in the suburbs are different from the honors classes in the hood. Like, they're totally different.
So the education, another big issue in the schools and in general that I have on my list is technology. Like, I was at this great forum in Harlem, and the issue there was with the NAACP and Community Board 10 in Harlem and the Mission Society. And the panel said to the young people in the audience, we parents, we're not communicating too well. What's your interest? Who are you? There were a lot of young people. And a young woman stood up and she said, we are the technology generation. I think it's fabulous that this is a generation. I don't think the parents always get it. And so I'm really excited. I chaired the technology committee in the city council, and I'm super techie. So I would love to see enough support in the schools for technology. Lots of times the computers don't work. It's not fast enough in terms of the speed coming in. And then you should be able to have at home 24/7, so that the neighborhoods, we should have free Wi-Fi so that people can take advantage of it. That's what they have in other countries.
You know, when I think of technology, I think of, like you said, I don't think parents are moving faster with the times, but I remember writing in grade school cursive, but I can see why a school now would want to have a whole bunch of iPads, because that's how the real world works. And you don't need to necessarily learn how to write fast. Now you need to learn how to type fast, how to put together an email, not put together a letter.
You need to know both, but you certainly need to know that the technology in the public schools is as good as in the private schools, and giving you the tools to be able to go onto the workplace. It's a challenge. I mean, the public schools, with all due respect, in some cases are not keeping up with what some of the other schools or the other countries are doing.
I'm gonna mesh all these worlds together: technology, what's happening in Selma. How much do you think this is really resonating with the youth, and how much do you think is it hype? Meaning it's a hashtag for now and it's forgotten next week.
If we can, as adults and people who are got more knowledge, can harness that, because I think it's exciting that the hashtags or the .nycs or the whatever is going on, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I'm a big Twitter user, so that's why I get news a lot. If that can be harnessed so that there's a lot of information that comes into the young people, so that they communicate in a not just a Instagram way, but more of a substantive way. We're not there yet, but that technology could be harnessed, for more jobs, for more communication, for more news, for more substance, and that's what I would like to see more of.
I think so too. I think it's really just the beginning with all these social media platforms and how we're utilizing it, not just for recreation, but for movements and to do things and create movements.
Right. I mean, we saw that in Europe, we saw that in Egypt, we saw that in other places in the country. And I think the protests could happen fast because there was technology, and that was positive.
Exactly. I actually did protest, and when I didn't know where to go, all I did was put in the hashtag, and I was able to see, oh, they're at Union Square, and go get off the train and do it again. So
exactly. And I think that's advocacy, substance, education. How can #technology be used in a productive way. I think it's exciting.
Me too. So it was great talking to you, meeting you, Gale. I think we had a really great conversation.
Starr, you're awesome. It was great talking to you.